Hi there, Susan C. And I wanted to just come and share with you, as I typically would for a mom's night out, but this time we're just going to do the teaching without the length of the call. So this will be a longer video than I typically do, but it will include what I would have taught if I would have done this in a mom's night out online series. And so what I want to actually do is in the next few videos, I want to do a wisdom series. I am known to say a phrase where I say wisdom is knowing the difference. And I'll take two words and that we use pretty interchangeably. And I want to tease those words apart so that we see the nuanced difference of each one. That way, when I share some feedback or when I share some ideas, we'll each be understanding the same word in the same way. I hope that makes sense. And as I go along, I'm sure that it will. It's just comparing words like entertainment versus hospitality, or sleep versus rest, which is what this video is going to be about. And I have a whole list of some other ideas that I want to share with you. So I want to talk about recently, I was on the highway and I was taking a trip. And have you ever taken a long road trip? One of the things that you look forward to sometimes is getting a break. And what is the space that most states have created on the side of the road? They call them rest stops or rest areas. And it's a place for you to go that you can refuel your car, perhaps, maybe refuel your body, get some food. Maybe you want to just get out and stretch and move your legs around because you've been sitting in the car for so long. If you're traveling with pets, they need to get out and be able to run and move. But you also might notice at the rest area that some people are there and they're like pulling out food that they've packed in the car and they're going to sit at the picnic area and enjoy it. Some really nice rest areas have playgrounds for the kids and things for you to run around and do and see while you're there taking a break. And then you can look over in some of the big trucks and they're in there taking their sleep. They're taking a full-on nap. Maybe people are in their car and they're just knocked out because they're exhausted. And the key is each one of them is taking the rest, the break that they need. And sometimes that includes sleep and sometimes it doesn't. And quite often I have found as a mom that the days seem so long and I'm going and I'm doing, and I would attribute that my biggest number one desire is sleep. Especially when all of my children were little, if anyone said, hey, what would be the thing you'd want to do on your dream vacation? I'd be like, hey, got my answer, sleep. You could take me anywhere around the world. I'd be happy to be there, but I guarantee you what I'd probably do is sleep. And when I have new moms that I'm working with, most of them are saying, I'm just exhausted. I just need sleep. And I have found that sleep truly can be a challenge, especially when you're dealing with little ones and they don't want to sleep all night. And so you're up in the night with them. And then maybe you have a little bit older ones and they're up bright-eyed and bushy-tailed first thing in the morning, and you feel like I didn't get any sleep last night, and you're already up, and here we go into another full day. But I've also found that many moms, maybe it's not so much sleep, but it's rest. They just need a break. Think that rest stop. They just need somewhere to break. Get out, stretch for a little bit, move around a little bit. And so I want us to think about those two words. Let's tease them apart. Is it sleep you need or is it rest? So what is sleep? Sleep is that physiological need that we have. In order for our bodies to function properly, we need sleep. Without sleep, we will literally start to break down. Our bodies won't function properly. Our mind will start to function improperly. Everything is affected in our physical bodies if we don't get enough sleep. In fact, our bodies will just go to sleep. If we try to deprive our body of sleep for a long period of time, eventually our body will just insist and demand, and you'll just fall asleep almost anywhere. That is a physical need we have for sleep. Rest, on the other hand, is a psychological need. It's that need for a break, to take a step away, to have a sense of ease again, to be in a place where you can have calm. You may have heard me say it before on other calls or videos where I say that when I walk into a room in my house, one of my requirements is that every room have a place for my eyes to rest. What does that mean? When I walk into a room, typically there's always something to do. There's laundry, or there's dishes, or there's somebody's socks, somebody's shoes, there's books or hats or jackets or anything left. And there's straightening up and picking up to be done in almost every room of my house. And instead of walking in a room and constantly seeing the work that needs to be done, there are times when I just need a break. And so I look for that place for my eyes to rest. For my living room, that's up on my mantle. Very little happens on my mantle. People don't put anything up there. Whatever I put there typically stays untouched. Minor miracle in my home. So if I walk into my living room and I see laundry baskets and people's shoes and socks and pillows on the floor and blah, it just looks like we live here, right? I wouldn't even call it a bad day. I would just say it's lived in. Then I can give myself a break and not go into the, hey, guys, get in here and pick this up. Instead, I just shift my eyes to the mantle, take a deep breath, calm myself, and then determine, do I need to have them deal with that right now, or can I just walk on through? And I have the same in my bedroom. I have the same in my kitchen. There's somewhere I can look and my eyes can rest. I can give myself a break. Think that rest area where you just exhale, you get out, you stretch a little bit, you feel better, and then you're ready to go back onto the journey, right? It's the same with that rest, in where I let my eyes rest, and in my schedule, I put a time for rest. Now, in the afternoons, after we typically have lunch, what used to be nap time when I had little ones, I no longer have nappers. I'm the napper in our family now. I call it quiet time. And I have one request, just that you be quiet. You do not have to sleep. You don't have to go to sleep. It's okay if you don't go to sleep, but you do have to be quiet. You do have to do a quiet activity. Maybe you're reading, doing puzzles, drawing, coloring, but this is not the time to chat with your sister. It's not the time for you to giggle or want to turn on a video or turn on music, because that's what you want to do. The house goes quiet. Sometimes for me, I get to read during that time, but sometimes I actually do go to sleep because that's what my body needs. It's kind of like that rest stop again. Some people stop just merely to stretch, and other people, the very rest that they need, the break, is sleep. But you see how the two ideas truly are different. One is a psychological need and one is a physical need. And both of them are important. And when we're thinking about feeling overwhelmed and feeling like life is going at 95 miles an hour from the time we open our eyes, we're just go, 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 go. And you think, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted. I just need some sleep. Ask yourself, is it really sleep that I need, or do I need rest? Do I need a break? Do I need to sit down in a chair, turn my back to the living room and all of the to-dos that I can see, just look outside and have a cup of tea or a cup of coffee or a cup of juice or whatever you need to have? Maybe it's just that. Maybe I just need to go for a walk. Maybe I need to call a friend and have a good conversation with a girlfriend. Maybe it's time I whip out my calendar and go out to dinner or go visit a friend at her house. And I need to put that date on the calendar so I know that my rest is going to look like getting some time with a friend. Maybe it's some other thing that you come up with. But the key is you need both. You need rest and you need sleep. You want to make sure that you're getting both every single day. It's not rest ever so often. Maybe once a month I get rest. No. That psychological break is what keeps you from being an angry mama. I've been there. It ain't pretty. Getting that rest is what keeps you from overreacting to their minor moments of not listening or just being children. It's what keeps you from having lots of miscommunication in the home. Because when you're rested, you communicate better. When you're rested, you can laugh at the things that otherwise would send you over the edge. When you're rested, you can be more fit and ready for the journey. But when you're not rested, even the littlest thing seems like a great big old deal. And it's hard to keep going when you're not getting a break. So as you're listening to me, if you're thinking, yeah, I need a break, and how's that work? I got a bunch of little ones, I'm here by myself all day, or I'm working all day, and then I come home and the family needs me at night. Remember, those breaks, that rest, it doesn't have to look like a spa experience. It doesn't have to look like a vacation getaway at the beach. It doesn't need to be big, expensive, nor elaborate. It's simply giving yourself permission in the flow to take a break. Maybe it's just having silence. Because if you're in a noisy season in your family, maybe silence is what you crave. Go sit in your car and have that silent moment. Going for that walk, turning on music you enjoy versus the kiddie versions of every music, or something that the kids enjoy or your husband enjoys or other people have on. It's something you want. You get to be creative with this. You get to determine what really feeds your soul, what gives you the break that you need. But I also want to share a scripture with you. It's from Psalms 127, verse 2, and I'm reading the Amplified Version. And it says, "It is vain for you to rise up early, to take rest late, to eat the bread of anxious toil, for he gives blessings to his beloved in sleep." Notice that both of those words are in there. They have rest in there, in that scripture, and there's sleep in there. And I'm not getting into what those words mean in the Greek or the Hebrew. That's not my lane. I'm not going to get in that lane. I just merely want us who are in this intentional mom community, who are desiring to be intentional moms, that I want us to give ourselves enough time to determine, do we need rest, like a psychological break from the demands of the day, or do we physically need sleep? And then give ourselves permission to experience whichever one we currently need. And in this scripture, it's saying it's vain for us to get up earlier so we can get more stuff done, and then take rest break way too late. You know, like when you've ever been on a road trip and you're starting to nod off and drift out of the lane, or you find yourself like snatching and you're thinking, oh my goodness, how long have I been on the road? What's going on? My body is telling me I need a break. I need to get out and move around. I need to jump up and down and get the blood flowing again. So we want to not be in anxious toil, but remember that God gives blessings to his beloved when we sleep. And sometimes we need to give ourselves permission to just go to sleep, or give ourselves permission to take a break and rest, trusting that sometimes the details that we're fretting over are worked out in the midst of us taking a break, whether that's stepping away or whether that's physically laying down or climbing in a chair and going to sleep. Either way, remember that you have a need for both. And intentional living requires that we understand that critical difference. You can be more intentional when you know rest is what I need in this moment, or sleep is what I need in this moment, or both. I'm going to do both. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to deep breathe, have a cup of tea, relax, and then I'm going to get up and go and lay down and take a nap because I need that too. There have been studies that have shown that napping is not just for babies. Adults benefit from that too. So it's okay to take a nap. That doesn't mean you're lazy or unproductive or not really focused in getting things done and you're just kind of sloughing off the day. Not at all. Just think, if you gave yourself permission to actually take that nap, how much more you're alert and ready for the rest of the day. But if you skip it in the name of, well, I just still need to get more things done, or I just don't have time for a nap, and then by the end of the day, you're snappy and short and critical and, you're just fried. You're just fried. You've just gone too long. Remember, it says it is in vain to do that. Because ultimately what we want to create is a loving home, a supportive environment within our families. And it is downright tough, if not impossible, to do that when you are frazzled, overwhelmed, and exhausted. So give yourself that permission. Take rest. Take it throughout the day. Figure out ways that you can incorporate rest into your day. And ensure that you're getting sleep. If that means that you even need to have someone come over and just give you a break so you can go in your room and take a nap, please do it. Please don't think that you should be able to function on little to no sleep. Other moms are doing it. No. If we were really honest, we would be able to tell each other, girl, I'm suffering over here. I'm cuckoo my Cocoa Puffs. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm struggling trying to function on no sleep. I would love it if I could get some sleep. If we were more honest with each other, we would see we don't need to carry the burden of being the slacker mom. Because rest and sleep are not signs of being a slacker. They are actual, real demands that our body needs. A mental break and a physical break. And we should give that to ourselves and pass that on to others and give them permission to have that break as well. And say it doesn't mean anything about who you are as a mom and what you're capable of. It just simply means girl needs a break. And as a friend, I want to give that to you. Matter of fact, make that a baby shower gift, right? Girl, I'm going to give you breaks. That's my gift to you. I'm going to show up and give you a break on the regular. It's a blessing. So I hope that this inspires you to think differently about what you truly need. Is it rest or is it sleep? And I look forward to future wisdom series with you. Bye for now.